Good evening, everyone. My name is Jelka. I'm a cooperator aspirant in Perugia, Umbria, Italy. First of all, I would like to thank you for your trust and invitation to share with you some thoughts about the Venerable Bishop Aurelio Bacciarini on the day of his memory. My thanks also go to the Father Superior, Father Rajesh, for his kind request of this contribution. Sincerely speaking, it's difficult to put the life of the Venerable Bishop in few words. Though his lifetime was relatively short, 62 years, in terms of today, his contribution to the congregation was huge. So, as we know, it's important the quality rather than the quantity. Indeed, his life was thick and of good quality, dedicated entirely to God, to people, and the congregation he loved. My focus today, on the day of his memory, will be on his Episcopal service in Switzerland, in the Italian area of Lugano. As you may know, Switzerland is a country in Europe that is divided into three major regions, three major areas, and the criteria of division is the language. So we have the French, the Italian, and German area. And Father Aurelio Bacciarini, his real name would be Stefano Aurelio Bacciarini, was born and later in his life was called to serve in the Italian-speaking region. Actually, it's called Canton in Switzerland, Canton Ticino. But I would like to start from the beginning, and then we will come back to Switzerland and to that point again. He was born in Switzerland, in Canton Ticino, on November 8th in 1873. And he was baptized the day after, because at those times it was very probable that the child would die or become sick and die very soon. So the parents would baptize with Christian the baby as soon as possible. So he was baptized the day after. Actually, in some registers, the day of birth is by error written 9th of November, though it is 8th of November 1873. His family was very poor, and he was the seventh child in the family. His father worked as peasant, and with some other mill works and other things, he tried to sustain his family and support it. Unfortunately, when Aurelio was less than 3 years old, his father died. So it meant that the real difficulty started for his mother. In this context of extreme poverty and difficulty, his faith grew with hard work and prayer. Very important in the family was the rosary, and this remembrance of the prayer will follow him, will be with him for many years to come. He enters the seminary as a fruit of vocation, but also as a so-called child of providence, because otherwise his future would not be very bright. In his studies he was an excellent student. He was very good with his classmates. He was remembered as intelligent and helping and good companion. He was ordained priest in June 1897, but his first pastoral experience, his first parish where he was sent, was not really a happy one, because people really did not want to welcome him. They were very happy with the previous priest, so he found a hostile environment for his first service. And on that occasion, he had to believe strongly in Mother Mary, daily Eucharist, and prayer. So in this aspect, we find his first similarity with Father Guanella. That was also during his service often not seen well in the beginning. He stayed in this parish for 6 years, and in 1906 he faces another phase. He starts another phase in his life, the Guanellian phase. It is really difficult to give us a real clue why he became Guanellian religious priest. Even the documents that we have actually do not give us much insight into that reasoning. But we just have to accept it as that. He had some occasional encounters with Father Guanella, but they were not that important that we could say that occasion, that encounter, that meeting was really important for him to enter the congregation, actually the group of the priests. Actually, he enters the congregation in October 1906. He was the formator of the clerics, and soon Father Guanella saw, he had the intuition that there was something more in Father Aurelio, and that more was good for the future of the congregation. He professed. His first profession was on March 24th, 1908. It was the first public profession of the members of the congregation, though at that time the congregation was still not recognized as such. And he remained for the following 6 years with Father Guanella, leading the congregation, editing the magazine La Divina Provvidenza. He worked on the approval of the two congregations, and he also worked on the diocesan processes of beatification of sister of Father Guanella, Caterina Guanella, and Sister Chiara Bosatta. He had a short crisis of his vocation, his religious vocation, with the servants, and left actually for a period of time servants, but actually Don Guanella was very much sure that Aurelio was important to stay with the servants of charity, and he even contacted the Holy Father, the Holy See, to have him back, and he made it to in this intention. Soon Father Aurelio Bacciarini becomes the parish priest at Trionfale. It's a basilica in Rome that was entrusted to the congregation, but by the Pope Pius X. From 1912, Bacciarini was Vicar General of the congregation, and was found, actually he was in this position at the moment of death of Father Guanella. The Holy See actually recognized in Father Bacciarini the real person to succeed to Father Guanella, and he appointed him to this role of the Superior General, and he was supposed to stay till on that position till 1924. This was also a delicate moment for the congregation, because the founder was dead, and soon also the World War II, the First World War started. Actually, Italy entered into the First World War in 1915. Often here in Italy you will hear the expression War 1518, because in 1915 Italy entered the war. In the year of the death of Father Guanella. Father Bacciarini soon felt that this position of the superior general will not last long. I mean, it will not be the only one he would be called to serve and to cover, and he suffered very much for that. Actually, he when we read some documents on this period, and when we read letters that he was sending to his confreres, we see him as a Jesus in Calvary that would like to avoid the chalice, and to avoid that imminent event that the Pope would call him for episcopal see, for episcopal role in some other area. The Pope was Benedict XV, and actually he was summoned to Vatican and was confirmed both bishop, to become a bishop, and superior general till 1921. So the Pope already confirmed these two roles for Bacciarini. Interestingly enough, he was consecrated bishop in the same basilica of Saint Joseph at Trionfale in Rome, in the Guanellian church, where he was actually a parish priest. This period of life, I already dedicated a lot of time. This period of life was preparation for the bishop activity he would bring forth together with his religious life. He blended in himself diocesan and religious life, and in a way he was looking for sacrifice and expiation for his family and his past and its history. So now he could really live that passion and try to give his best to the Diocese of Lugano and to the congregation. He had to leave for Lugano, and his work for the congregation, for the servants of charity, was epistolar. He would write letters to Leonardo Mazzucchi, to other priests and confreres, and would lead the congregation from far, from Switzerland. The reason he finished there was double. He was born there, and it was his homeland. So for the bishop, there was a rule that there should be some local person elected. And on the other hand, the local bishop had some immoral behavior and had to renounce to the Episcopal See in 1916. Of course, the Bishop Bacciarini, Aurelio Bacciarini, had to bear with with the situation that the former bishop created for years, and face the hostilities and of the people and of the local authorities. His main task, his initial task, was to reunite the clergy, the lay people, and restore faith in bishops, in their honesty and capability. He undertakes this task after having been formed under the fatherly guidance of Father Guanella, love in everything. Specialty was the neighbor. He brought with him the Guanellian spirit in the diocese. From his first day of arrival in Lugano on February 14th, 1917, he dedicated his time to the poor, to visits to the poor, to pastoral visits, getting in touch with the people, with common persons and clergy. He also dedicated time to the local authorities, and this will be of great importance also for the construction of the sanctuary of the Sacred Heart in Lugano. That would be in the end the church there where he will be buried. We even at this point we have to bear in mind that he covered two functions: Superior General of the Servants of Charity and the Bishop See in Lugano. He even tried to renounce to this role of bishop in Lugano, but the Pope told him take some time, have some rest, because he was weak in health. He had some diseases, so he was very often in hospitals. So the Pope told him take some time for you, and but in the end, after these admissions to the hospital and everything, he always returned to his work in the diocese, and he remained there till his death. His presence with the people, with the local people, was both physical and spiritual. He was near to the poor, to the Word of God, and this was also something that he brought from the Guanellian environment. In this occasion, in these years, he wrote more than 180 documents, circular letters, pastoral letters, and he treated daily world issues, also on pandemic, that was from 1918 till 1920, the war. Political and religious issues. He wrote on morality, communism. There was plague of addiction to alcohol in the families. Immigrant issues, he wrote on that, and demographical issues. So he was very rich in writing. Actually, his disease had to do something with the voice. He was often without voice or with lungs. So in writing, he found a way to express himself, to support his people, and to be in touch with the confreres in the Servants of Charity. He came in February in Lugano. Already in June, he started with the pastoral visits, and he was not. He was facing the difficulty of traveling, and he did not mind it, even in remote and hilly areas in Switzerland. He dedicated time for speeches, for confessions, for meeting the poor and the sick. Actually, we see through him, we can see easily Father Guanella and this dedication and work. He did not only go to visit the persons, he would also draw and pull the persons to do pilgrimages, because for him pilgrimages were something very important to grow the faith in the persons, and also to show publicly the lay faith in pilgrimages. So he would go for Loreto, Lourdes, Assisi, Rome. At those times, you imagine it was difficult to travel, it was expensive to travel, but anyway, he managed to organize pilgrimages for his diocese. In 1919, he founded a local Christian social organization that defended the interests of the Catholic workers and defended them from the communist and socialist ideology. These political streams were very strong, even if you remember from the times of Father Guanella, and it was important for the clergy to protect the people and make them aware of the dangers that these ideologies could bring. He also reorganized the local Catholic People's Union, the local lay association. In 1926, he founded the local daily newspaper, local Catholic daily newspaper called Giornale del Popolo, Daily News of the People. This newspaper still exists, and it is important because it answered the local anti-clerical and lay propaganda, and was promoting the Catholic view of the world. Another important milestone was in the bureaucracy, so to say. In the public documents, usually the document would start in the name of the Lord. But the local authorities wanted to change this into the starting words in the name of the people. So Bacciarini saw a great danger in this trial of the local authorities, and he moved everything to save the situation. Actually, they organized a referendum in 1931 where his idea won. And I would just remind you that in Switzerland, referendum is a legal instrument that is often used when people have to express their idea on a controversial law, on something that the government cannot resolve. So in this way, Bacciarini wanted to protect the Christian roots, the Christian tradition, even in the bureaucracy, in the public documents. He kept in his heart also the formation of the youth, and opened 3 formation and education centers, and 2 of these were entrusted to the servants of charity. As Father Guanella, he was very much dedicated to the Sacred Heart of Jesus. When the sanctuary in Lugano was to be built, he was offered 3 opportunities, 3 names for the church, but he did not think twice. He immediately dedicated this church to the Sacred Heart, and actually, even at his deathbed, he dedicated the diocese to the Sacred Heart. So he was fully convinced that, first of all, this was like a legacy from Father Guanella. On the other hand, he was sure that the best thing for his children was to be dedicated and entrusted to the Sacred Heart. One of his important works was opening of infant and children sanatorium, and though it was costly, he managed to go further and forward with it. And he was expressing here in this occasion trust in providence, Guanellian trust in providence. Of course, besides these efforts for the people of God, for laymen and women, his attention was also for the formation of the clergy, vocation promotion, and he intervened also in the local seminary to bring back order, discipline, hard work, and piety in the seminarian life. We have to remember again that the diocese and the people of God had been strongly affected in faith and trust by the ill administration of the previous bishop. So it was the hard work of Bacciarini to regain the trust of the people. He anyway found money and means to renew the local seminary and open even a summer premises of the seminary in the local mountains. He totally reorganized the movement of Catholic Action, which is a lay association in Italy, Switzerland, in Europe, Azione Cattolica. This is a lay association that works in many fields, from politics to social life. As I have mentioned, his last years of episcopal activity were tortured by severe disease, lungs and voice, and physical weakness. there were periods that he could not speak, and he was often admitted in hospital and suffered pains. But even in this condition, he was faithful to the motto of Father Guanella, pregare e patire, pray and suffer. He tried to leave this position of bishop, but he was asked to remain. We see in this the return on the basis of his formation with Father Guanella, who in the early years prepared him for this final stage of his life and service to the people. He would always mention Father Guanella as his mentor, inspiration, and model. He also let his Guanella's biography printed, and it was thanks to him that it was the biography was printed. So as I said, on his deathbed, he remembered the Sacred Heart and consecrated the whole diocese to it. And it was also, again, the dearest devotion of Father Guanella. In that case, we also have to draw a parallel between the Sanctuary of Sacred Heart in Como and the one in Lugano. He died in Lugano and was declared venerable on March 15th, 2008. So this was a short, not so short, 26 minutes, video on Father Bacciarini. I would like to thank you for your attention and give you a small homework, if I may. You should kindly have a look at the end, when you can, at the coat of arms of Father Bacciarini, and you will see in his Episcopal coat of arms his nature. His nature is bishop, diocesan bishop, and a blend with the Guanellian congregation. I will just give you that in the coat of arms there is written "In omnibus caritas," and then I kindly invite you to look for the second element that connects him to the Guanellian spirit. I hope you have enjoyed, that I was not too long and not too boring, that you are still awake. I wish you all the best, pray for you, that God may bless you, and Mother Mary of Providence may protect you under her protection. Have a nice evening and thank you.